There are things that live in the depths of the hive that defy explanation or classification. These are horrors so vile that they seem to instinctively seek the darkness as if they know their very presence is anathema to the light of the God Emperor. The Abomination of Badzone 12 is such a stain upon decency and reason. A crawling, slithering, staggering thing of claws and tentacles and eyes, the Abomination lives in the depths of Hive Primus. In the dark cycles of Power Down, it sometimes creeps up from its lair, looking for more satisfying fare than mutant or rat. Blood-spattered holsteads and ravaged caravans are left in its wake. Possessions and goods left behind, but every scrap of meat and bone consumed. The Abomination has ever destroyed fledgling settlements, those who thought themselves safe from raiders, only to perish beneath the claws of the gigantic spawn. Underhive rumour has it that the Abomination is the remains of the cult of the Sump Mother, a malefic church based upon the worship of the Sump as a living god. Fused by their profane deity into a single howling entity, the Abomination feeds upon itself in its madness. Fanged mouths biting into screaming faces as scythed limbs drag it through the hive. Sometimes cults lure the Abomination out with the promises of food, intent on losing it against their foes. Though this is not without peril, and the cult might just as easily find themselves to be the Abomination's prey. Hello and welcome back to Wellywood Wargaming. My name is Damon, and in this video I'm going to be taking a huge dive into a massive series of Necromunda videos exploring every single hired gun, bounty hunter, hive scum, dramatis personae and hanger-on in the entire game, and I'm going to do a video for each one. So I hope you really appreciate this this undertaking, because it's going to take quite a while to get through everything, but I'm going to keep these videos short and sweet, give you a little bit of lore and give you my 2 cents on the rules and some of this stuff and the ways that you might be able to use these in your games. Now, starting off in alphabetical order, I thought I'd get into the Abomination of Badzone 12, but before I get into that, please do like, share, subscribe, check out my Patreon as well if you'd like to support me directly, and long may I continue doing these videos. I do get writer's block sometimes, and I find it hard to come up with ideas, but I feel like I've got my mojo back now, so I'm going to be pumping out a lot of videos very soon, so yeah, stay tuned for that anyway. So let's get into the Abomination of Badzone 12. I gave you a little bit of lore coming from the Book of Ruin there, so you can still buy the Book of Ruin, by the way. It's still definitely valid. It's got all the chaos and corrupted gangs in it, corpse grinders, etc., as well as Genestealer Cult, I believe, too. You've also got the special sort of chaotic campaign, uprising campaign in there as well, so it's a really good book to get. But we're not here to discuss stuff like that. We're here to discuss the actual hired guns at hand. This one, the Abomination of Badzone 12, is a pretty fun one, and also a very powerful one. Certainly in the upper tiers of things, I would say a tier 1 hired gun, most definitely. If you don't know what I mean by that, I will eventually go through these and tier them all individually and give you a sort of idea of which ones are best and which ones aren't. But the Abomination of Badzone 12 is, yeah, like I said, only available for Corpse Grinder Cult, Helot Chaos Cults, and Chaos Corrupted Gangs. So not available for Genestealer Cults. They have their own hired guns. This guy is a Chaos Spawn, a massive, gigantic Chaos Spawn, and is only available for chaotic gangs. So let's have a look at the stats quickly. Is it any good in the game? Absolutely yes. We've got a movement 4, which is quite slow. Chaos Spawn usually have very random stats in the game. They're a bit of a random thing in general. That's the whole point of Chaos Spawn, I suppose. But this one, however, doesn't have any of those random stats. It doesn't move a random amount of inches. It has movement 4, which is on the slower side, of course, but it is virtually unstoppable and very tanky indeed. Weapon skill 3+, pretty decent, better than average, as good as your champions and leaders most of the time, and this is a close combat orientated hired gun here, so you're only really going to hire it for those reasons of just absolutely ripping people to shreds in close combat. Ballistic skill, it doesn't have any, because there are no weapons that it can shoot, and even if it did have a las pistol, I'm sure it wouldn't know what to do with it. It would probably just eat it. We have a strength and toughness of 5, so whopping strength and toughness there. Wounds 4, quite a lot of wounds there. Initiative 5+, which is terrible, but don't think it really matters in this case because he's so tough with so many wounds. We've got 4 attacks as well, giving you quite a lot of attacks on the charge too. And then with the mental stats here, they are actually all negative, so there's nothing there. Leadership, core, willpower, intelligence are all just dashes in this case, so and we'll get onto the reason why in a second. For weapons, we've got claws, tentacles, and other strange appendages, so quite vague on that one, but we've got a versatile range of 2 inches there, so this thing, even though it's got movement 4, can sort of make up for it with its versatile range of 2 inches there, giving it an extra 2 inches threat range when it charges and stuff. We've also got ferocious jaws too, so it's got 2 weapons technically. The ferocious jaws are engagement range, they don't have versatile on them. They're the same strength as the user, but they're -1 AP and damage 1, so nothing too fancy there, basically a knife. The claws, tentacles, and other strange appendages, like I said, versatile range 2, strength +1, so strength 6, wounding most, toughness 3 guys on 2s, and -2 AP and 2 damage, so very, very nasty indeed. What's more to say about that? Anyway, a lot of these hired guns come with baked-in skills and whatnot, and we've got the same sort of thing here. We've got fearsome, which is a ferocity skill. Fearsome means that if you don't pass a willpower check, you'd be hard pressed to charge this guy and fight him in close combat. You can still shoot him though, he's not a corpse grinder. But if you were charging this guy and trying to take him out in close combat, you would be an absolute madman anyway, so I don't think that's really going to come up much, if I'm honest. The next two are both also ferocity skills. We've got unstoppable and true grit, both some of the best skills in the game. True grit, when you're down to your last wound, it reduces damage by 1. We've also got unstoppable as well, meaning that you can regain flesh wounds and extra recovery dice as well. Stuff like that. In terms of the war gear that this guy gets, the ever-mutating hide of the Abomination of Badzone 12 grants it a save equivalent to wearing heavy carapace armor. So the save is, a 3 or 4 plus, I think. This is a bit dubious as well, because there are a few instances of this with hired guns and stuff where it says they've got heavy carapace armor. Do they still have the penalties for the initiative or movement or whatever it is with the heavy carapace armor? It's unclear here. But that's down to your discretion, I suppose. And then we've got a bunch of special rules here as well. The first thing is that the only actions the Abomination of Badzone 12 can make in the entire game at any time are move, charge, fight, and coup de grace. You can't shoot, you can't go for cover, you can't open doors apparently. Those are the only things you can do. You automatically pass any cool and willpower checks, so that's why you don't need those stats. Any cool and willpower checks are automatically passed. However, leadership and intelligence checks are automatically failing. So again, that's not really going to come up much for this guy though, I don't think. So in terms of point cost, this guy is 280 credits, and of course he's not going to join your gang forever, but for 280 credits, if you're using it in a bounty sort of scheme or whatever, 280 credits is a bit of a steal, if I'm honest. It's a lot of credits, don't get me wrong, but if it's in a sort of bounty campaign set up like the stuff that you get on the Goonhammer article, go and check bounties on that. I use them in my campaigns here, and this guy's pretty viable. Otherwise, 280 credits is quite a lot to stump up, certainly early or mid in any sort of campaign. But that is the Abomination of Badzone 12. Again, please do like, share, subscribe, comment down below. Get the algorithms to love me, because I'm not loved that much in real life. So I get it from you guys. Something like that anyway. But that's it from me. Peace out.